Yes, welcome back to FHTV Plus. Today I'm joined by LB, Manchester City's very own LB. Long time no see, mate. How you getting on?
Yeah, all good, man. All good. Listen, I've been doing this like 5 years now, and I've still got nothing in my background. And I look at you, you got the LED light, you got the dog thing on to the left of you, mate. Like, I need to up my game. I do have stuff. I got my Mahrez picture. You know, signed Mahrez. I think I know. People keep on saying, "LB, when are you going to put something on the background?" And I'm like, I need to do it at some point, man. It's been 5 years, so. Yeah.
And do you know what? The worrying thing is because of that, it means I can't get this up, which is the love of my life. I can't get my old David Ginola picture.
Yeah.
I've got nowhere to kind of get it. But listen, LB, I wanted to have a chat with you. Listen, as you know, this is my second channel. It's my new channel where I want to talk all things that aren't Tottenham Hotspur. And I haven't spoken to anyone yet about Man City. You were my first choice. Here you are. LB, I think last time we streamed together must have been about a year ago where you had knocked us out the FA Cup. You then went on to win the Premier League title and get to the FA Cup final. What a difference a year makes. I asked you for a quote, and your quote was, Man City failed to prepare.
Yeah.
Talk to me. What's going on at Man City? What's going on at Man City?
Our season has failed because of our transfer window. And I think, to be honest with you, I think a lot of people try and overcomplicate football, in my opinion, with tactics and managers and this and that. I think 90% of what you see on a pitch and your success is due to your transfer window. And I remember Ian Holloway doing an interview, actually, and he said the same thing. He said, at the end of the day, you can have the best manager in the world, but if you've not got the right players and the players aren't good enough, you're not going to win anything. And Pep Guardiola always says this, right? In press conferences, people say, oh, Pep, you're great. Tell us your secret. And he's like, I've got the best players. And then people are like, oh, he's just being humble, or he's just, it's like, no, it's true. I think basically what happened is we gambled on Rodri. I said in the summer that I think Rodri was the single most important player to any football club in world football. And if you want to say that's Rodri FC, so be it, whatever. I know Pep said that about you with Harry Kane, innit? But so all City fans knew that we needed a midfielder in the summer. Now I wanted Kimmich. A lot of our fan base wanted Bruno, and we ended up getting Gundogan. Now I think had Rodri not got his ACL, I think that probably would have worked. But where they went wrong is, if Rodri got a long-term injury, is Gundogan good enough for 90 minutes with Kovacic, 90 minutes? Gundogan probably would have been okay coming on for 20 minutes, 15 minutes and take Rodri off. That's probably fine and give him the odd 90 here. But Gundogan's nearly 34. In fact, he might be 34. I think he's 35 in October. Kovacic is in his 30s. You know what I mean? So I think what we did is we failed to assess the risk correctly. And the risk was, if Rodri gets it's a short-term injury, that's fine. No problems there. But if he gets a long-term injury, do we have the capability? Do we have the players to put in a title run and a title winning team? And the answer to that is no. And we all knew that. So, we probably just were a little bit too lax in the summer, a little bit too complacent, a little bit naive, maybe a little bit arrogant, maybe a bit cocky. And ultimately we failed. We paid the price because we've been absolutely awful. We really, really have. And that's basically where it comes down to. Transfer window not good enough, and this is where we are.
Well, look, I wanted to ask you about that transfer window. It seemed like last summer you had a very quiet summer. I actually think that Man City over the last 3 or 4 years haven't actually done as much as everyone says you've done.
Agreed.
I think it was all done at the beginning of this reign, and then now it's kind of like 1 or 2 out, 1 or 2 in.
Yeah.
But I was a bit shocked that you didn't buy. Now, I've seen other Man City creators that are talking about they believe that the reason you didn't buy in the summer, LB, was the fact that maybe there wasn't a decision by them with the whole 115 charges and all this kind of stuff. And that apparently in that time, in between the summer and the January window, Man City have been given the go-ahead that, hey, it's actually going to be okay. You can now start spending again. Do you give any credence to that logic at all? Or was it just an arrogance of not spending when you needed?
No, I don't think it had anything whatsoever to do with the 115. And I still don't think City know. You know what I mean? For the people that I know, I don't think City have been told what the outcome is yet.
Sure.
To be honest with you, I think what happened, and Pep sort of spoke about this. Apparently, Tiki, who's our sporting director, is actually resigning and he's retiring. He went to Pep apparently in the summer and said, right, I think it's time to do the rebuild. And Pep said, no, I don't need a rebuild. I think personally that Pep was going to retire at the end of this season.
Right.
Because his contract was out. Well, not retire, but leave City at the end of the season because his contract was up at the end of this year. And just think about it. You've just won 4 titles in a row. And as a manager, you're thinking, right, I'm going to leave the club at the end of the year. Do you really want to be buying 5, 6 new players and integrating them into the squad and getting them to learn your tactics and systems and have to bed them into your side only for you to leave in 12 months anyway? I understand Pep's thinking there. He's probably thought to himself, I don't want to do that. What I'll do, I'll take these players who've won me 4 titles and we'll just go again. We'll try and win the title and I'll leave at the end of the season. The problem is we push these players too much for too long. Sure. And if I'm being honest, it needed a rebuild. Or not a rebuild, but it needed properly refreshing after the treble year. Yeah, and we didn't do it then. And then we should have done it last year. Remember, people, we did win the title last year, but we had to win 16 games on the bounce at the end of the season. One single dropped point, and we don't win the league last year. Like, that's how mad it was. Like, and then you've got the Euros, you've got the South American tournament on there. Manchester City have the most players out of any club in the world at these tournaments. It was, when you sit back now and go, it was obviously going to happen. You know, it was obviously going to happen. It was going to take one injury to one key player and bang. On top of that, you've got a goalkeeper that doesn't want to be here anymore, Edison. He's had his head turned by Saudi Arabia, so that's not particularly great. You've had Ake and Stones who constantly get injuries. You get your ACL to Rodri. Foden's burnt out, tired, whatever. He's off the ball. Kevin De Bruyne, again, 33, 34 years old. He had an 8-inch operation on his hamstring. And you sit here and go, you know what? We've done quite well to be only 5th in the table.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to say, I wish Spurs had such a bad season that we were still in the Champions League places. Yeah. But I mean, it's interesting you say that because football's a very reactionary place, and YouTubers like me and you and everyone else, we probably don't help. But hey, this is where we are. I've seen a lot of people throughout this year talking about Pep's got to go. Pep's not the man. Pep should be sacked. Look what he's done to us. Can I ask, LB, from your point of view, is it possible to look at a guy that's won 4 Premier League titles in a row, a Champions League, multiple FA Cups, multiple League Cups, and turn around in his first difficult season and say, sorry, mate, you've got to go? Surely isn't that a bit premature, or do you feel that way?
I don't feel that way. I'd probably say there's less than 10% of City fans that feel that way.
Sure.
And listen, like, we have to admit, like, Pep this year has got a lot of things wrong. Obviously, the rebuild, he got completely wrong. You know, and just tactical decisions, substitutions, very, very strange. So he's got a lot of stuff wrong this year. However, for me, you've got to have a little bit of credit in the bank, man. I mean, this is I think he's the greatest manager of all time. But even if you don't, he's top 3, top 2 managers of all time. Are you really just going to bin him after one bad year? So what I've said, listen, if next season we spend, because we're probably going to spend a lot of money in the summer because we need a rebuild, and that means in two transfer windows, January and the summer, we'll probably do close to £500 million. If at that point next year we're still 5th, 6th, 7th, getting smacked up, winning 1 game in the 14. I think at that point you go, you know what, fair. Maybe there is an argument that maybe Pep's passed it or he's burnt out himself. But one season, I just think that for me is just like, come on, guys. Like, there's got to be a bit of credit. There's got to be a little bit of, okay, he's got stuff wrong this year. Let's sort it out in the summer. Let's go again and see. Because I'm absolutely confident that providing they make the right signings in the summer, we'll go and win the league again next year. So I think it's a little bit premature. Everyone's got their opinion though, right? So, you know, it is what it is. But I think it's probably less than 10% of City fans that say that.
Mate, of course, look, opinions make the world go round. I just find it very funny. And listen, I used to do a call-in show on Football Heritage TV, my main channel, and I'd get some Man City fans phone in and they'd say like, oh, he's got to go. And they'd say things to me like, Sav, if this was your manager, had won 1 in 40, you'd want him gone. And I'd be like, yeah, but my manager isn't Pep Guardiola. Like, you know, my manager hasn't got 4 league titles on the bounce.
Yeah, it's listen, there's no doubt in my mind that winning 1 game in 14 is a sackable offence. Like, I'm not arguing that. Like, anyone that wins 1 match in 14, and by the way, in a lot of those games we're winning. So you bottled it, you know what I mean? And you know, there's no doubt in my mind that that in itself is a sackable offence, right? But You know, if you own a business and someone makes a mistake that might be sackable, yeah, you can sack them if you want. Or you can be like, right, where did we go wrong here? You can sit them down and say, how come you made that decision? What's going on? You know, can we do anything to help you? Yeah, you know, blah, 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 blah. And again,
Yep.
if they keep making the same mistakes, then at some point you got to go, sorry, mate, you got to go. Like, you know, I've tried to help you out. What we're doing by trying to help him out is getting better players. We bought players in January. We're going to buy players in the summer. And I'm convinced that next year we'll win the title. But again, if next year, after it's spent £500 million, the team sits in 6th, 7th, or whatever, and is out of all competitions, and we are still in the FA Cup, then fair. Like, that's the, you know, you've got to, I think the right of, so yeah, that's where I'm at with it, man. I think it's a bit crazy. I mean, this is the greatest manager of all time for me.
No, listen, I completely agree with you. I mean, look, let's go a bit deeper into the squad then. Look, it has been an interesting season. And if I share the screen here, we'll see, obviously, you know this, but here's the Premier League table. You know, from where you're sitting right now, listen, has it been a Man City year and the Man City that we all have learnt to know over the last 10 years? No. But it could have been a lot worse, LB. It could have been a lot worse. It still could. But can I ask you, with 9 games left to go, 2 wins from your last 6, lots of clubs getting clogged up behind you now. If you look from, you know, from yourselves to Bournemouth in 10th is 4 points. Are you confident that Man City are going to get this over the line to as a minimum, finish top 5 and secure a Champions League place next season?
Yeah. And there's a couple of reasons. One, we have the easiest fixture list out of all the teams left in the competition. I don't know if you've seen Chelsea's, even though they're currently 4th.
Yeah, I've seen
I actually don't think they'll get top 5 because their fixtures are crazy. And I just feel that, like, what I've realized is in this, when you're in a top 5 race, like I'm used to, because the last 4 years I've been in a title race every single year. Like, you have to be perfect. Every game you have to win, and if you don't win, it's a disaster. Because like I said 5 minutes ago, last year we had to win our last 16 games of the season to win the title. You drop 1 point, you don't win the league, right? What I've realized in this top 5 race is you don't actually have to be perfect, because we'll drop points against someone, but so will Chelsea, so will Newcastle, so will that's the whole reason that these teams, including City, are in the top 5 race and not in the title race.
Of course.
That's the definition. So yeah, I think we will. I think this team is good enough now to get top 5. We do have a bit of a problem in defence because of all the injuries, but I think we'll be okay. Nico Gonzalez has come and he's steadied the ship. And yeah, I just think we'll be able to get it across the line. I don't think it's going to be like, we did it. It's going to be like, get through. We might finish 5th, and it's you know, that's not
get through, get the Champions League revenue, and go again in the transfer window.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the upcoming transfer window then. In my mind, I see it that this window, Walker will go completely. I think Stones will probably go. I think that you're probably looking at Gundogan, maybe Bernardo Silva, Ederson, De Bruyne, Grealish. With all of that, feel free to disagree with any of those. Who are you looking to bring in? What type of player are you going to go for? Is it going to be your Florian Wirtz type young player? New starlets coming through, or do you still need to replace that experience with some experience? What are you thinking is going to happen in the window?
So Ederson will leave. He's going to go Saudi, so we're going to need a new goalkeeper. It's probably going to be Costa from Porto, or that Chevalier from Lille. We need a new right back. It's probably going to be Cambiasso from Juventus.
Yep.
We tried to get him in January. I think Juventus tried to push the price up because it was January. I think City just said, right, we'll come back in the summer, do it then.
Yeah.
The defender, the centre back position is interesting because we have enough. The problem is they're always injured. You know what I mean? Like Stones, fantastic centre back. You know, arguably our greatest ever centre back if you ignored the injuries. But he's always injured. Like he plays 20 games a season. Ake, brilliant player. He started to get injuries. We brought these two new kids in, Huzanov and Hayes. Huzanov I really like. I think he's going to be a top player. And Hayes we've not really seen too much of. If he trusts them, Hayes, then you probably don't need one. But you know, I'm looking at Branthwaite at Everton. I'm looking at Mark Guay at Palace. I'm thinking they're good players. They're good players, and they're available this summer. You know what I mean?
Are they Man City? Can I ask you about those two? Sorry, just to interject. When you look at Guay and Branthwaite, and don't get me wrong, if you said to me Tottenham had taken them, I'm like, yeah, pig in shit. Are they Man City level? Like, I really like Guay, by the way. I think Guay is a madly underrated centre back.
Yeah.
Are they Man City level for you? Can they come in and play Pep style of football?
I think they can. I think, you know, Branthwaite's only 22.
Mm.
You know, I think
Mm.
you get him in and you give Pep 2 years because Pep's got 2 years left on his contract. I think he could be a top player. The problem is he's injury prone as well. And Gueye, I think when he was in the Euros, I thought he was brilliant. I thought he was England, one
Yeah,
of England's
agreed.
best players. So yeah, potentially. I mean, you're looking into midfield. I think we need some sort of like all-rounder midfield. So like a Bruno G, someone that can do a bit of defending, good on the ball, chip in with a few goals. We need someone like that, and then we need someone to replace Kevin De Bruyne. And the guy who we're heavily linked with at the moment is Florian Wirtz. It's going to cost a lot of money, £100 million.
Class.
Yeah, I really like him, and he's basically like a baby De Bruyne. And you've just got to try your best to get the best player to replace De Bruyne, and I think he is that guy. So we'll try and get him. And then for me, I don't think we will, but I want another winger, and I want a more senior winger. Our three, because Grealish is going to go in the summer. Our three wingers at the moment are Oscar Bob, Savio, and Doku, who I think could all be decent players, but they're all young. They're all under 20 or 22. So like,
there's not an experienced head there, is there?
No, it should be Grealish, but obviously,
from.
you know, Pep don't play him anymore. Whatever's happened there.
Yeah.
I'd like us to bring in a winger, 25 plus. Yeah, just to, you know, you got experience there. So it's going to cost a lot of money. Listen, before January, I said we're going to need to spend 500 million quid in January, between January and the summer, and we did 175 in January, and I think we'll do another 300 in the summer. But that's what you got to do, man. You got to do that.
If you want to win. Look, let me ask you then, a player that you mentioned once so far, but haven't really touched upon, I feel gets a lot of criticism, and I think people have very short memories, is the player of the year last year in the Premier League, not Man City, the Premier League player of the year, Phil Foden, gets a lot of heat. Is this a case, LB, that he's done so much by such a young age in his career? I think he's got something like 16 or 17 major honours by the age of 24.
Yeah.
Have we put him on such a pedestal and he's done so well that now the moment he has a season where it's not quite as good, everyone's going to do that English thing we do of, hey, we put you on the pedestal, now get off, get back down to earth. What's going on with Phil Foden?
Yeah, I think it's similar to Pep in the sense that he has a bad year and everyone's just jumping on him and saying, you know, it's crazy. I mean, this is a player who's 24 years old. He's played 308 times already for Manchester City at 24.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? He's also got 44 England caps. So this guy's done over 350 appearances for senior teams at the age of 24. So to be honest with you, I mean, he spoke in January, February time. He said, like, this season, he just felt mentally burnt out, mentally fatigued. And then, you know, you always have the people who go, shut up, man, like, blah, blah, blah. But then you look at the numbers and you go, 360 games at 24. And by the way, again, a lot of these games, like, especially for City, are high-pressure games. You're going into games.
Of course.
These title races are mad stressful every time you step on the pitch from March to the end of the season. You know, if you don't win, that's the season done. You're not winning the league because we're always in these mad title races, even though everyone said the league was boring. So it was, listen, I think that for me, he needs some time off. The problem is he's not going to get any time off because we've got games out to the end of the season. Then we've got the Club World Cup and then the season starts again. So it's difficult to see when he's going to get that rest. But again, this would help if we bring Florian Wirtz in. And, you know, there's an argument to, you know, I don't really know what to do with Kevin De Bruyne. Let him go or stay. But if you brought Florian Wirtz in, you kept Kevin De Bruyne for one more season, you could allow players then to have a little week off, 2 weeks off here, because you've got players. City needs to get back to having a bigger squad. You know, Pep Guardiola spoke about this in press conferences. Pep likes a small squad. But and they questioned him and they said, are you sure this is still the way to go? And he said, I don't know. He says, I think maybe going forward, I think I'm going to have a bigger squad, because usually Pep's had, you know, people always have done this thing of City have 2 players in every position. That's not true. That's never been true. What City have had is we've had a group of 16, 17, 18 players, but all of them 18 are world class. And you've got players like Bernardo who can play midfield, right wing. You know what I mean? You got other players like Foden who can play left wing, right wing. We've got versatile players. We don't really have that anymore. So it's about refreshing the squad, getting a bigger squad. And listen, I'm pretty sure this guy will be mega again next year. But it's been off season. He's probably been knackered, and we'll go again next year.
Yeah, again, I did an England watch along the other night, and I just feel that the heat that this guy gets is, we tend to do this when we get a really good young English, he's still young. When we get a really good English footballer, we seem to want to knock them constantly. And you think he's come through in an era for me at Man City where it would have been very easy for him to not come through, if you know what I mean. He's had, you know, both Silvers have been in front of him in the pecking order down the like as senior pros. Both Silvers, Mahrez, Grealish, Gundogan, De Bruyne. Like, it's just player after player after player, and he's broken through, got all of these records. One player of the year, and then one bad year. Sorry, mate, you're rubbish. Listen, I want to round off the show, LB, with 3 quick fire questions for you, if that's all right. The first one, you're in the FA Cup. You got Bournemouth away, I believe, in 2 days' time. I think, Sunday.
Yep.
Sunday, maybe. Sorry. Are Man City going to win the FA Cup to make sure that you continue this run of winning something every year for however many years it's been?
Well, I'm desperate to win it. I'm desperate to win it, man.
It's a tough place, Bournemouth, man. It's a tough place to go.
And I tell you what as well, Savvy, yeah, they battered us at that ground. It was actually, I think it was the game after you knocked us out the cup. You remember when we played you in the cup this season?
Right, yeah.
And you beat us. I think it was like 2-0 or 2-1 or something.
2-1.
We played them after and they battered. Listen, I say yeah, but obviously.
No, you need a bit more. What do the kids say now? You need a bit more chest than that. Okay,
yeah,
so LB, there you go. LB has said they're winning the FA Cup. Will Kevin De Bruyne be a Manchester City player come the first game of next season?
I think I say yeah, but I really have no idea. But I reckon 1 year contract, reduced wages, and I reckon he'll do 1 more year. But I honestly have no idea.
Fair enough. Last question. Are Man City winning the Premier League title next season?
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100% on that one. I'll say that one with chess, Savvy. Yeah, we'll win it. 300 million. Let's rattle some people in the summer, spend a load of money, and then, yeah, we'll go again next year, man.
Yeah, big up. Listen, LB, really loved it. I love to hear from fans of other clubs. You know, looking from the outside in at clubs, you can always have your opinion, but you're not in the thick of it. Everybody who's watching this, if you don't know LB, then you should know LB by now. His link is going to be in the chat. If you are coming over from LB's channel, you're very, very welcome. Please smash the like button, subscribe, and help my new channel grow. LB, when are you next live? When can people catch you?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'll definitely be doing a watch along on Sunday for Bournemouth, which is going to be disgusting because I'm not confident at all. But yeah, just come over and the shows will be when the shows are, man. But yeah, big up, man. I appreciate you asking me on it.
No, thank you. Really appreciate that. Listen, everybody, please go over and subscribe to LB. Thanks for your time. Listen, FA Cup this weekend, and then we can actually get back to some Premier League football because my club won't have played for 19 days. But we've got Chelsea on Thursday next week. So we'll be losing that. And other than that, come on, you Spurs. Good luck to sit in the FA Cup. And I'll see you all later. Take care. Bye-bye.